Welcome to part 2 of our interview with Arseli Mohensi, where we discuss with her key components of a successful business. So our fourth question is, from your perspective, in terms of growing a successful business, how would you describe the importance slash value of networking?
Ooh, that one is huge, right? Because we've already touched upon that briefly. Um, yes, I mean, networking in a variety of platforms now with technology being more accessible to everybody, I think that's opened the doors for small businesses. They often small businesses, I notice are are go-getters, and they attend many of our in-person events across California, because that face-to-face time is, you can't beat that, right? Manal, like right now we're doing this. Technology is wonderful, and it allows us to do a lot like this podcast remotely, and also face to face for networking. I think that goes just a little above and beyond. That's not to say, though, that there aren't other ways to network. Picking up the phone, that's another warm way to build a relationship, right? With specifically, I think for this industry, for a small business who is trying to pursue government contracts, California state contracts, building a relationship with the buyer is key. And it's not easy sometimes to reach that buyer. But when you do get the opportunity, like I mentioned, when a buyer reaches out to your certified business, they're giving you a lifeline. They're giving you the connection. They're giving you their direct email or their direct phone. And you have that once you have that, take that opportunity to introduce yourself. A warm voice, always makes a great impact. And say, okay, yeah, I provide you the quote right away. Or, I can't provide that quote. We don't quite do that service or product. We don't sell that product. However, please keep me in mind for next, because this is what we sell. And then you could talk about what your business sells in terms of networking. All of a sudden, you have a relationship with that buyer, and that buyer may talk to other buyers about your business, and that's how that network grows. I hope. I'm not sure where we're at time check. Time check. Okay. Sounds like we're good. So yeah. For a small business, this is so big, the power of networking. You never know when the one interaction will multiply. So a one connection all of a sudden multiplies. You have 10 different people who now know your name and your business name.
I like that. I like how everything is kind of like interconnected. For our
Yeah.
last question, what is your advice for someone who wants to be involved in business at a young age?
Oh, let's see. That's a really good, that's a thinker. um I think there's there's different paths, right? My advice for a young person would be um, to reach out to other businesses within different industries and ask them about what they've learned in their entrepreneur career. Um, because there's different paths. As I now that I'm not such a spring chicken anymore, I realize that uh, the traditional graduating college, getting a job, that linear path is wonderful, and it has a lot of benefits, but it's not the only path. And then building a business, but it's not the only path. So that's one way to do it, if you reach out and speak to a lot of other business owners, you may realize that there is no singular path. They have so many different ways. Some of them very well, took the traditional graduating college, grad school, then business school or whatnot, and then opened up their whatever that business venture they pursued. And other people have maybe 3 or 4 different careers within their lifetime, and that is critical for them to be able to have the experience and have those life experiences that brings them to the point where they everything meets their experience, their the right timing, and they're ready, and then they can open up their business later in life, which I know we're talking about a young person, but that's just a young person can continue to learn as they keep now, if they're interested in business, learn now, talk to business owners, see what are their what do they think, what could have they have done differently, do they have any hurdles that could have been avoided, and how. I think what you're doing is great with this podcast. This is a great resource for other young entrepreneurs who are interested in business. I think I also would say, on the practical side, learn how government works, right? Learn about government, because what are the things that you're going to have to check off the list? The way you build your company, for example. Are you going to be a sole proprietorship, or are you going to, incorporate? Does it make sense to incorporate? What type of organization are you going to build? Are you going to start, do you need permits? Like, if you're starting to sell somewhere, and how to navigate those bureaucratic hurdles is very important. So just try, get out there, try, you'll learn from your first business venture. I hear that for business entrepreneurs, young or old, often the first try is not it is what gets them to their actual business, how do I say that? The right business. So it's not always the first try or the second try, so realize that. I think and if you got the spirit, go for it.
Thank you for that. And with that, we're actually going to go ahead and conclude this episode of our podcast. We thank you, Sally, for taking the time to be in this episode, as well as all of you for listening. And we hope you guys continue to join us as we continue to release new episodes of this podcast.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Bye.